Welcome to another episode, everyone. How Dub C, the neighborhood Crip rapper, Dub C, commanded the respect of all of Los Angeles. He did. He is indeed a legendary figure, and let's give Dub C his flowers while he is still here. He is from 111 neighborhood Crip, and he put these individuals on the map. He helped to put them on the map in the 90s. He hooked up with Ice Cube and had a lot going on in Los Angeles. If you are from the greater Los Angeles area, you certainly know who Dub C is. He commanded the respect and really put fear in other rappers' hearts.
Dub C was born William Calhoun Jr.
Shout
on
out to
February
Warren
3rd, 1970 in Houston, Texas. He moved to South Central LA at an early age in his childhood. Dub C would grow up in an era in South Central where gang violence controlled the city of Los Angeles, and South Central will be one of the deadliest areas for anyone to grow up in. Several Crip and Blood gangs controlled the streets from various neighborhoods, and in the 80s, the drug trade and fight for territory put many gangs at war and made South Central a war zone, with hundreds of murders year by year, and this is the era that Dub will grow up in. Dub C would get his name from the initials in his name, William Calhoun. Dub would grow up in an area in South Central called the Hundreds, and as a youth, he would get involved in the streets with what was going on around him. The Hundreds had several different gangs operating out of the area, but for Dub, he would grow up in an area controlled by a gang called the Westside 111 neighborhood Crips. 111s are a Crip gang that were a part of an alliance by several different Crip gangs out the Hundreds to take on several rivals. Rappers like Ice Cube will also grow up in this area and be affiliated with several Crips, with him knowing them from the area and being childhood friends to many. Ice Cube and Dub will grow up together early on.
There used to be a lot of kids on the block. All the kids that moved away, I guess we grew up. We was the kids. This is the house I grew up in. Got a nice fresh paint job.
To a young O'Shea, South Central seemed like any other Los Angeles neighborhood.
I thought we was rich, you know what I mean? Because the neighborhood at first glance looks like a pristine place to be. It seems pretty quiet around here, but I guess the freaks come out at night.
Everybody's been friends. Ooh, since elementary school.
Yeah, the freaks most certainly come out at night. And there are areas in South Central that look pristine. Like he said, they look innocuous. Doesn't look like any sort of crime happened in this sort of area. Nonetheless, as soon as night falls, things get extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Elementary school.
Yeah. Wow. I saw some of the pictures from back in the days, too. And I was in the car. I had the pleasure of being in the car. And then y'all arguing about a football game before. Yeah. You know, when Dub was running that 5.7 40.
Ain't that a Cube called me about what he talking about is Cube call. He be hitting me so.
Dub was slow, but he caught a touchdown on us, and I was mad as hell.
See, y'all don't realize this dude right here, y'all think he be talking on record. Oh, man, he be going in. The hood comedy. You know how the cats be like, you know, it's always a bagger in the hood. This dude don't stop. But he be real, you know, just real quiet and sarcastic when he hit you with a knockout blow. He called me up, me and CJ, it was me and CJ rolling just in the car, just on GP. And this dude, just the phone rung. I'm like, what up? Hey, what's happening, man? He said, didn't you score against us? I said, yeah, I caught a bomb on y'all. He said, nigga, you was slow to them all.
Even though Dub was fully involved in the streets and Crippin' was his daily life, he was also passionate about sports, playing football at Washington High School, but also he was heavy into music. In high school, Dub would be battling other rappers to get his name.
He might have been slow, but he still caught that touchdown for one. I used to mess with Cube heavy, Dub C too. I used to mess with Cube, man, till, you know, he sold us out with Trump, man. And even Dr. Khaled Abdul Muhammad said that the ice began to melt when they got on Ice Cube's head after he was supporting Dr. Khaled. I just believe, and he used to speak out, and he used to be sort of revolutionary. And I believe that if that is what's in your heart, then it never changes. Even when you're 90 years old, it never changes, ever. And if it does change, it was never fully there.
Out there, and to gain a local buzz. Around the same time, Ice Cube was already gaining fame, with Ice Cube joining supergroup NWA, who was on the rise, with Ice Cube being a songwriter and also one of the main rappers. Dub would take rap more serious, but seeing how things were going for Cube, and he would begin his career pairing with DJ Aladdin and making the group low profile. The group released one album called We're In This Together in 1989, but the group would later break up.
artists.
And Low Profile and the album were in this together.
First album.
And appearing on Rhyme Syndicate compilation, Shit Thoughts.
Yep, back in the days. Back in so much love and respect to Ice-T for giving me and DJ Latin a shot on the Rhyme Syndicate compilation. And then also, too, later down the line, the first album that me and the DJ Latin drop was called We're In This Together. You know, and it shook everything up on the underground scene, definitely.
Dub would later form his group, Dub C, in the Mass Circle. Mass stood for Minority Alliance of Anti-Discrimination. The group Mass Circle included fellow rappers Big G, Coolio, and producer Sir Jinx, Chili Chill, and DJ Crazy Tunes.
Yeah, for those who don't know, we used to...
Yeah, Mass Circle, when they came out, they were coming out with some hits, and people were going along with them and supporting them. And they had some revolutionary music, if you will. They too were fighting against the system, like a lot of these public rap groups at the time. Rap, of course, hip hop has since devolved into primarily mind rot and brain rot, with individuals helping to destroy the community with talking about all of the drug selling and the unaliving of other black men. This is designed this way, and we must all be mindful of it and get rid of it at this point.
We with a group called Low Profile back in 1989, but due to bad management, we broke up, and now we call it Mass Circle.
And the circle represents unification. It's only one way in and no way out.
Word. So check this out, because we got a real bad problem where we stay in one part of town. You know, you don't get along with brothers on this side and everything, but we chose to go a different way because we are minorities. We all fighting a true enemy out there. You know what I'm saying?
Got that right.
So right now, who we are.
See how he talking at the time? We all minorities. We all fighting the true enemy at this point. It don't matter if we on this side of town, you live on that side of the town. The same thing, that sort of stuff that we say now. People have been. This has been individuals' disposition, but sometimes we straddle the fence because of the way that we were raised.
Are we the Mass Circles? WC in the Mass Circle.
With Ice Cube leaving NWA by 1989, he was signed with Priority Records as a solo artist and formed the group, The Lynch Mob. Dub was automatically affiliated with the group. With his close relationship with the group members and Ice Cube, Dub group Mass Circle were also signed with Priority Records. By 1990, Ice Cube would drop his solo debut album, America's Most Wanted, which would go platinum. It would be followed by another album by Ice Cube in 1991 called Death Certificate, which was another success for Ice Cube. That same year in 1991, Dub C's group Mass Circle would officially drop their first album called It Ain't a Damn Thing Changed, which features several other rappers like MC8 and Ice Cube himself. The album wouldn't be a huge success, but it got the group some notice, and this would lead to the group going on tour with Ice Cube in 1992. Dub would still be heavy in the streets, but stay active in music and still affiliating with Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob. Dub C's group Mass Circle wouldn't drop another album until 1995, with rapper Coolio choosing to go solo. He released 2 solo albums between 1994 and 1995. Both albums would be successful. Even though Coolio went solo, he still featured on Mass Circle's 1995 album with Mac 10, along with Ice Cube. After Mass Circle's 1995 album, Curse Serving, the group disbanded. That same year, Dub would appear in Ice Cube's movie, Friday, as one of Big Worm's shooters, and in 1996, he appeared in the movie Set It Off, which he played a bank robber. But that same year in 1996, Dub along with Ice Cube and Mac 10 will form the group Westside Connection, bringing 2 rising rappers in Mac 10 and Dub C, and a megastar Ice Cube together.
Westside Connection.
Yeah, the Westside Connection was very successful. That was really clearly the most successful group that Dub C had been a part of. Mac 10 too, for that matter. And when they came out with the song Bow Down, of course, we all knew, really, this was during the East Coast, West Coast beef. And Bow Down, when you come to my town, they were talking about these individuals in the West Coast. Bow down when you westward bound. So he got involved in the beef somewhat, supporting the West Coast, supporting where he's from. He was really a member when the beef was going on between the East Coast and the West Coast. I think I'm gonna get into the murder that really ignited that beef between the East Coast and the West Coast. When Big Jake was taken out at some point today, we'll see. But Dub C, man, he's still here. He's low key. You don't hear from him. You don't see him doing interviews or anything. He's just quiet and in the background and clearly living his life. But let's give him his props and his respect while he's here. He is one of the most underrated MCs of all time. And his impact on the culture is monumental. And he's not disrespected, but I'm certainly not sure that he receives enough respect.
Well, it's myself, Ice Cube, and Mac 10. 3 artists that came together on the West Coast. I was from different areas. Well, me and Cube was from the same area, but we was all from different crews. And we was one of the first groups to come together that was from different crews and formed this powerhouse group. You know, it was just, you know, you had a cat that came from Inglewood, out of the, you know, area where there was a lot of Bloods at. And you had me and Cube that came from an area where it was Crips at. And Cube, you know, by him always being, you know, a rapper that was, you know, really social conscious with his rhymes and stuff like that, he represented, you know, that street political side. I represented that Crip side, and Mac represented that Blood side. And, you know, you had the gangster killing the dope dealer right there. And that, to me, described, you know, all of California. And, you know, we included everybody else, you know, that was down with it. So it was big. It was a big record.
The Westside Connection group album would be a success, but had a lot of controversy as well. The group would go at a lot of people on the album, with their lead single being Bow Down. Many people speculated this was a diss to all rappers, and especially the East Coast, along with rapper Common being dissed on the album after Ice Cube felt he disrespected the West Coast. Group Cypress Hill will also be dissed on the album after Ice Cube and Cypress Hill group member B Real would get into a dispute over a song. B Real felt like Ice Cube stole a song from him, and this would lead to several altercations and disputes. But with Dub C being close to his Westside Connection group mates and also being close to Cypress Hill, he chose to stay off the beef and tried to squash it. This beef took several years to end.
Back when Ice Cube and Mac 10, they was kind of beefing with Cypress Hill, and they came out with King of the Hill. You're on the track, but you don't actually have a verse going in on Cypress Hill. Why did you choose to stay out of that? Or, you know, so you were still on the track representing, but you know what I'm saying, you didn't have a verse on it. So what was up with that?
It was political reasons that took place before the record, even before the diss of Cypress Hills had diss and Cube. There was a lot of shit that went on that I was trying to diffuse, because we all, you know what I'm saying, we all used to hang out together real tight, you know, and I used to, you know, back in the days, coming up with Atlantic Mugs, me and Cypress Hill lived together.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that we stayed together, you know, back in back in the Gap. So, right. You know, it was some shit that it was really supposed to just be Cube and Be Real, but it ain't no such thing as no head up. You know what I'm saying? And Mac 10 was doing the group, and he wanted to prove his allegiance and all that shit and everything. Right. So, you know, he went on to do, you know, what he's supposed to do. But at the same time, too, I'm just glad that shit right there, because it was real close to me. Glad that shit, you know what I'm saying, stopped after that right there.
Yeah, man, there you go. This is why he's respected. This is a solid individual. This is a solid response. In other words, those individuals had a beef. Even though Cube is my boy, we're part of the same group. He's put me on, essentially, helped garner my fame and success. Still, this individual that he is denigrating with his music used to live with me. This is my guy as well. No, I don't want any portion of that. I stayed out. I'm glad that those individuals were able to resolve it. But if you're asking me how come I didn't get involved, that's why. Even though Cube is my boy, this is my guy, put me on, this individual is also my guy who used to live with me. So I'm not about to get on the record. You know, like these days, people will go at you, even though they're supposed to be your friend, your family, whatever, on the internet, that make posts on you, what have you. This individual, even then, was staying solid and saying, damn the fame, damn currying favor from Ice Cube by disrespecting someone that I care about that used to live with me. If anything, I will not take anyone's side. I'm just going to stay out of it.
Along the years, Dub continued his acting career. In 1997, he had roles in Jamie Foxx Show, and in 1998, the show Sister Sister, and the Snoop Dogg movie The Game of Life. The same year in 1998, Dub would drop his first solo debut, being The Shadiest One. In 1999, Dub would act in movies The Breaks, Mac 10's movie Thicker Than Water, and another movie called Foolish. And in 2000, Show Moesha. In 2000, Dub, along with several legendary artists like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Crip, Nate Dogg, MC Ren, Mac 10, and a long list of others participated in a tour called the Up and Smoke Tour. Dub performed with his Westside Connection crew, and most people remember Dub's performance off his Crip walking. In 2001, Dub would appear in the film Air Rage, and in 2002, a movie called Stranded, and another movie called White Boy. In 2002, he will also drop his second studio album called Ghetto Heisman. In 2003, Dub would appear in CJ Smack's documentary called Seawalk is a Way of Life, and also his own film called Dub C, Bandana Swinging, All That Glitters Ain't Gold. This would be the same year Westside Connection would drop the album Terror Threats, but this would be the group's last album together, with Ice Cube and Mac 10 having a big fallout over Ice Cube's brother-in-law being disrespectful to Mac 10, leading to him being beat up, and this led to the group breaking up forever.
Yeah, so he was he became a prominent actor too, if you will. As we see, he was on Moesha, he was on quite a few different shows, Dub C, and in quite a few different movies. Did his own documentaries and all. And eventually, he made his way out of the street at some point while he was rapping in the street and in the industry and becoming successful. At some point, you have to leave all of that nonsense behind. The gang banging, it has to go. No way.
Legacy, the music for Westside Connection doesn't mean as much because you guys aren't together anymore, because it's all about camaraderie and like riding with your friends together.
And every time we do a Westside Connection show, whenever I'm performing or Q performing or we're together, the crowd go crazy. I don't see how they can't think that.
But you guys aren't doing it anymore.
What do you mean?
It shut down.
Mac 10 does Westside Connection records on the solo show. I do Westside Connection records on my solo. Ice Cube do them on the solo or when we're together. Now there's always going to be a Westside Connection. Are we performing together as a group? No, not at all. Not right now.
Yeah. You think you'll ever come back?
What you say?
You think you'll ever come back together as a?
Could be.
Yeah?
Could be, yeah. Things worked out between, Cube and Mac. It's called real life though.
Yeah.
Real life behind the music.
Yeah.
Music is one thing, but real life behind the music is another. If there's no gelling, then there's no music.
Yeah.
But Westside Connection will always be an all-time favorite collective.
Dub was scared of Mac 10.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, he did not disparage Ice Cube or whatever. He just said things have to be worked out behind the scenes. Real life is real life. The music. And what he's saying is, if we're not cool, if we don't have camaraderie behind the scenes and understanding, if nothing else, respect for one another, if we haven't resolved our issues, then the music is not going to be any good. When you're talking about having a group and creating music together or doing anything together, if there's some sort of animus between individuals within the group, then it's going to affect the productivity and it's going to affect the work. Not only the productivity, but, the measure of the success of the work. The authenticity of the work is going to be affected. How well the work is produced is going to be affected if you have animus towards the individuals that you're working with. I get it.
Ice Cube's beef, still holding a good relationship with both of them. In 2006, Dub would appear in Mac 10's movie, It Ain't Easy. With the Westside Connection disbanded, Ice Cube and Mac 10 would continue with their solo careers, and Dub would as well. Dub would have another album in 2007 called Guilty by Association. In 2008, Dub will also act in movie Belly 2. Dub wouldn't drop a lot of music after this point or appear in movies. He took a behind-the-scenes role in his career, and in 2011, Dub would drop his final studio album, Being a Revenge of the Barracuda. He would appear in 2012 movie documentary by Ice-T called Something From Nothing. In 2013, Dub C would drop a collab album with Daz. In 2015, Dub would appear in a movie called The Streets. By 2017, Dub became a consultant in the show, Snowfall. He also served as a Los Angeles dialect coach for Dansum Idris, who played the show's star, Franklin. Most recent with Dub C, he has been doing several ventures and performing in several shows. And also, Him and rapper CJ Mack will also make a podcast called The Dub C and The CJ Mack Show, which they have been doing for several years. Dub C has had a long-lasting career and is considered a West Coast legend. This will
Indeed, a West Coast legend. Shout out to Dub C. Used to be from 111 neighborhood Crip, really an official member. And he's still successful as a podcast, as we heard. A lot of individuals that just went into podcasting, but he's still alive, he's still well. That's the important thing. Alive, well, and healthy. Didn't do anything foul while he was in the game that I know of. Stayed strong the entire time, and is in good standing. So respect to that man for surviving everything that he survived in South Central Los Angeles, getting in the industry, being successful, not in and out of prison, being arrested. Never heard any of this about this individual. So again, he absolutely deserves his flowers and deserves his respect. And he gets it from me and from many others. I don't know anyone that doesn't respect the man, truthfully. And that's the way that it should be. Shout out. And shout out to Warren Cali. Go and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for your support. Let me know what you think in the comments about old Dub C, man. Y'all remember that record? I used to bump that all the time in prison, doing my burpees and all. Bow down. Bow down when you come to my tent. Bow down when you West Coast, man. Bow down. Because I ain't a hater like you. Stay safe and stay free, people.